Disclaimer: this movie review is inspired by content from Ruth Kadiri 247. This review contains commentary, opinions, narration, analysis, and added creative value for entertainment and discussion purposes. Because this king? This one collected premium breakfast, lunch, and dinner emotionally. Today's movie is Throne of Games. And trust me, before this story ends, you'll be asking, who exactly was playing games? The king? The queen? Or
Let's enter. The movie opens with royal energy. Trumpets, palace atmosphere, people greeting their king, everybody acting respectful. And then immediately, we discover one small issue. Our king likes women. Not ordinary liking, oh. This man behaves like every maiden in the kingdom automatically belongs to him. As he walks through the village, he spots a young lady and immediately decides, you, palace, tonight. Just like that. No introduction, no how are you, no what's your favorite food, straight to palace invitation. And in this kingdom, rejecting the king is almost like signing your own punishment letter. Most girls would have accepted immediately out of fear.
But then enters Lute, and immediately I knew. Problem has arrived. Because unlike everybody else, this girl had confidence. Not noisy confidence, dangerous confidence. The kind that speaks politely while setting fire to your pride. When she greeted the king normally and refused to kneel dramatically before him, the king looked confused. Because imagine someone looking at all your royal intimidation package and saying, respect should come naturally. You could literally see the king's ego shift position. At first, he was angry, then confused, then suddenly interested. Because have you noticed something? People who love control always become obsessed with people they cannot control. And that's exactly where everything changed. The king ordered her to his chambers. Again. But Lute said, "You are not my husband." Simple sentence. Very small words. But my people, that sentence entered the king's heart like an arrow. Because from that moment, this was no longer attraction. No. This became ego, mission, competition, national assignment. Meanwhile, can we discuss Lute's parents? Because, excuse me, your daughter says the king wants her in his bed, and your response is, go? Go? I had to pause. Because instead of protecting their child, these people started calculating palace comfort, wealth, and survival. Suddenly, everybody forgot morality. Everybody forgot danger. Everybody remembered only one thing: security and comfort.
King equals opportunity. And that right there felt painfully realistic. Because sometimes people around us don't ask what makes us happy. They ask what benefits them. Now, while Lute stood her ground, the king's obsession kept growing. But things became worse after his mother advised him to marry and settle down. And for 1 second, I thought, character development. Maybe our king is changing. Maybe he finally... No. I was deceived. Because this man looked at marriage and said, I will marry the one who rejected me. Not because of love, not because of peace, not because of destiny. Pure revenge. My jaw nearly left my face. This man basically said, you embarrassed me? Fine, I'll marry you and suffer you professionally. Who thinks like this? And somehow, through threats, pressure, and fear, Lute got forced into accepting. But did she really accept? That's the question. Because from that point onward, the movie transformed. power suddenly changed direction. The hunter slowly became the hunted. At first, the king looked victorious. He smiled, walked proudly, acted like he finally conquered the woman who bruised his ego. But meanwhile, Lute was quietly planning. And this is where things became dangerous. Because revenge is one thing, but silent revenge? Silent revenge is terrifying. The king thought he won, but our queen started moving like someone playing chess while others were playing draft. And then another problem entered. A former palace favorite suddenly announced, "I am carrying the king's child." Everybody froze. The king froze. The queen mother froze. Even I, watching, became confused because this man spent his entire life moving around the kingdom collecting maidens, and suddenly consequences arrived. And immediately he denied responsibility. Immediately. Not even small hesitation. Straight denial. And that scene annoyed me because for someone who spent the entire movie acting powerful, suddenly accountability disappeared. Interesting. Very interesting. But while that fire was still burning, boom, another explosion. Lot herself suddenly announced, "I am with child." Wait. Pause. Everybody pause. Because even people inside the kingdom looked confused. The king himself looked confused. We looked confused. Even birds probably stopped flying. Because, excuse me? How? You just got married yesterday. Yesterday. And now pregnancy has entered? Mathematics was no longer working. Science left the chat. Tradition packed its bags. Everybody started investigating. The queen mother became detective. Palace workers became investigators. Elders gathered. And me? I sat there laughing because confusion entered every corner of the kingdom. And this was where the movie became addictive. Because suddenly power shifted. The same king who once controlled everybody now looked helpless. And here's where I actually started feeling bad for him. Yes, I said it. Because somehow this arrogant, controlling king started changing. Slowly. Unexpectedly. The man that once saw women as trophies suddenly looked genuinely in love. And that shocked me. Because he started protecting Lute, defending her, standing against people for her, even against his own mother. Wait, hold on. Is this growth? Is our king becoming human? Because remember, this same man once threatened everybody. Now look at him practically begging, "Please, just like me a little." Omo, that scene touched me. Because for the first time, his arrogance disappeared. No king, no throne, no ego. Just a man. A broken man. And whether we like it or not, that moment was painful. Because despite everything he did wrong, you could actually see genuine love developing. Unfortunately, love does not erase damage. Because let's be honest, the king created this problem himself. He used fear, manipulation, power, control. So when things finally exploded in his face, part of me said, "Sir, respectfully, you ordered this package yourself. Now collect it." But can we discuss Lot too? Because, Madam became dangerous, extreme. Who wouldn't? She was standing against oppression, standing against abuse of power, fighting for freedom. Beautiful. But as the movie continued, things started becoming complicated because now revenge was pushing her. Pain was controlling decisions. And slowly, she began hurting people too. That's one thing this movie did well. Nobody remained fully innocent. Everybody started changing. Everybody became flawed. And honestly, that made the story feel more real. Because real life isn't usually divided into angels and villains. Sometimes hurt people hurt people. Sometimes pride destroys everybody. Sometimes revenge becomes another prison. Deep stuff. Now, let's talk acting. The actors delivered, especially the king.
Playing emotional breakdown? That one is difficult. And he moved through all those stages naturally. One minute you wanted to slap him. Next minute you felt sorry for him. The next minute you're angry again. Confusion. Pure confusion. Latu carried herself well. Very calm performance. Very controlled. No unnecessary shouting. No overacting. Just presence. The Queen Mother? Mothers in Nollywood palaces never disappoint. Never. They see everything, hear everything, appear everywhere. If kingdom secrets existed, somehow Queen Mothers already know before everybody. I'm convinced. Now, let's discuss the real lesson hiding under all this drama.
Power can force obedience. Power can force silence. Power can even force marriage. But power cannot force love. Never. And that's the tragedy of this entire movie. Because the king spent so much time trying to possess someone that he forgot the most important thing. Love given freely feels different. You cannot command it. You cannot threaten it. You cannot order it. And by the time he realized that, everything had already become complicated. Overall, Throne of Games gave us romance, manipulation, pride, revenge, emotional damage, and enough palace drama to sustain Nollywood for years. And trust me, this title fits perfectly because everybody was playing games. Everybody. Now, I want to ask you, if you were Lute, would you forgive the king after everything he did? Or once trust breaks, is the relationship already over? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know this discussion will scatter everywhere. And if you enjoyed this review, don't leave without supporting Flicks and Feels. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because more Nollywood drama is coming your way. Until next time, stay entertained and stay dramatic.